Hi, I'm Paola Crespi. I'm a PhD candidate in the Media Communication Department at Goldsmiths College. This is a video abstract for my article Rhythmanalysis in Gymnastics and Dance, Rudolf Bode and Rudolf Laban, which I recently produced together with two translations from the German of texts related to rhythm and rhythm analysis. This was part of a special issue of Body and Society, Rhythm, Movement, Embodiment. The texts I translated are of Rudolf Bode and Rudolf Laban, and they were written in 1920 and 1921, respectively. Bode and Laban were renowned exponents of the corporate culture movement, the former being the father of rhythmic gymnastics and the latter of expressionist dance. They operated both in the Weimar Republic, the period in which the texts were written, and under the National Socialist regime, although Laban was forced to leave in 1936 and Bode instead continued his collaboration. In the introductory article, I focused on the notion of rhythm that is central to both the practices and philosophies of the authors. I show that they had a similar point of departure in their articulation of the notion of rhythm, such as the vitalist philosophy of Henri reread through Ludwig Klages, and the folkish subculture. But I also highlight how Bode and Laban come to different definitions of rhythm. Bode has a dualistic view of rhythm, which means that he sees it as equal to either flow or meter. And he stresses the irrational, undivided nature of this phenomenon. Laban understands rhythm instead as a multiple notion, something that gives rise to a polyrhythmic and polymorphous definition. As there were rivals for both professional and political reasons, I propose that the different ways in which the notion of rhythm is presented in this early text has played a crucial role in the later conflicts. I argue also that these texts are of significance, on the one hand, in order to further a cultural history of rhythm, which has suffered from the linguistic barrier, and on the other hand, because they were written by two practitioners rather than theorists. What this seems to suggest is that research on rhythm allows to blur the boundaries between theory and practice, and invites us to think of rhythm in a broader landscape in which performance studies and the work of the performer theorist also plays a role. I think that these texts don't function only as historical data, but are very actual in their take on rhythm. For what concerns Laban, for example, he left us with a rhythm analysis developed in the British factories during and after the Second World War. This research is based on an analysis of movement in relation to the motion factors of time, space, weight, and flow, and departs from the polyrhythmic approach and understanding of everyday life as found in the 1920s text. The impact, for example, of this tool of rhythm analysis is yet to be explored in the field of rhythm studies today. So I hope that the translations will spark interest in these authors, and I'm looking forward to receive related comments.